talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
I'm talking to you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Vocal Points episode entitled Rishi Sunak, the First. Well, I began my new season's podcast inspired by the death of Queen Elizabeth II. It was, I believe, the end of an era and the beginning of something new. One of the last duties that the Queen performed just 2 days before she died was to instruct the newly appointed Prime Minister, Liz Truss, to form a new government. Liz Truss had won the internal battle for leadership in the Conservative Party against Rishi Sunak after Boris Johnson had resigned. The cabinet formed by her was the first in the history of the UK government that there were no white male in the top positions. The second most powerful position, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, was given to a black man called Kwasi Kwarteng. He lasted in office from the 6th of September 2022 to the 14th of October 2022 before he was sacked by Liz Truss. You see, Mr. Kwarteng put out a mini budget, and within hours the whole of the UK's financial system collapsed. The prestigious British pound sterling was the lowest it had ever been for decades, and the Bank of England had to intervene. So now we have a newly appointed Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, the first non-white, brown, to be more specific, Asian, and a Hindu to occupy that position. The youngest Prime Minister for 200 years. Earlier this year, he was listed in the Sunday Times Rich List, the first politician to ever be listed since it began in 1989. He and his wife have a combined wealth of £730 million. His wife's father is a billionaire and one of, if not the richest person in India. There are a lot more firsts that I haven't mentioned, I'm sure. But he has now given the King of England, King Charles III, the opportunity to perform his first duty of giving the Prime Minister permission to form a government in the name of the King. I said in my previous podcast that kings are not elected. They do not go through the democratic process where the people decide. But what we see here is someone that's been appointed into a position. He fits the bill. I believe the slogan is, "Are we ready for Rishi?" Well, he is rich enough. He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer during COVID. He has experience in managing money and obviously knows how to make money. May I add that he's a person of faith, the Hindu faith, a practicing Hindu. That can't be bad. He's described as someone with integrity and is hard-working. Isn't it interesting that he was appointed Prime Minister on Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights? A divine intervention, maybe? You see, the King of the universe is in charge. His will must be done on earth just as it is in heaven. He sets up kings and he pulls them down. Now, for humanity to overcome any crisis, it will take unity. The Conservative Party is obviously not unified. They had to look beyond colour and ethnicity and pick the best person they believed would bring about economic and political stability. So I don't believe that I'm wrong in calling him Rishi Sunak the First. That sounds like a kingship title. Appointed rather than elected. Perhaps he would not be in that position if the British people had to decide. Now This segues nicely into my vocal points this season about identity. Who are you? Who do you think you are? How do others see you? How do people identify you? They said Kwasi Kwarteng was not black enough. A member of parliament was suspended after calling Kwarteng superficially black. Rishi is classed as brown, not black. Is it the shade of colour? Barack Obama was described as black, but still not black enough. Other comments are that Rishi is not British. Well, he was born here, schooled here. Boris Johnson was apparently born in New York. So what makes someone British? I was born here, my husband was born here, and my children and their children were born here. Is it the colour of your skin that makes someone British? Actually, there's another term called Briton. I think it indicates white British ancestry. See, I've just mentioned the word ancestry. So it could be where your ancestors are from that identifies you. But how far back can we go, or should we go? Wow, the world truly is in crisis because of an identity problem. And this problem causes disunity, segregation, disharmony in all areas of our lives. From the moment we entered this world, our identity began to be framed through our relationships, how we relate to each other, how we're treated by others, how we're affirmed or valued by others, how we value ourselves. You see, our values and what we do from day to day are based on who we think we are. So I'm very excited about where this discussion about identity will take us. I believe that a lot of minds will be transformed by the truth of who we are and not what someone said or even what we think. It's the truth that makes one free. So, until my next episode, Lord willing, be blessed.